We got a national championship game to preview here. TCU and Georgia, SoFi Stadium next Monday night. Can't wait for this game. And let's be honest, right? Like, TCU being in this game is wild. Wild. We have just not seen this very often in college football. College football is not built for a Cinderella story. In fact, we haven't seen a national champ that started the season unranked since 1990. That was a Georgia Tech team that shared the national championship with the University of Colorado. So this TCU team trying to do something that is just not that common. And I got to tell you, we're all here for it, in particular after those great games last weekend in the college football semifinals. I hope we get an equal game in this national championship game. So let me start by breaking down first when Georgia has the ball. And I want to do this. So next segment, we'll break down when TCU has the ball. But I want to show you what these teams are, what makes them tick. And the first thing that you have to understand when Georgia has the ball is that Georgia is much more balanced than you think. In fact, there's only 4 teams in the country that throw the ball for over 265 yards and run the ball for also 200 yards. Those 4, by the way, 2 of them are in this game, TCU and Georgia. The other 2 are Oregon and Florida State. So Georgia is a very balanced team. Well, in order to be balanced, I believe that you've got to have hybrid-style players, in particular at that H-back or tight end spot, okay? Because you've got to be able to, out of the same personnel group, run the ball effectively and throw the ball effectively, and in times even explosively when you're trying to throw the football. Well, guess what Georgia has? Brock Bowers. And I know that he's probably their best player, but to some degree, he doesn't even get the attention that he maybe deserves for what he does to their offense. Let me show you exactly what I mean. A great tight end, what can he do for the offense? Well, first and foremost, he's got to be able to block. Right here, Brock Bowers is at the point of a bunch set here on the left side. He's got to get this in man on the line of scrimmage blocked, and then he does this. He wins and turns him inside, allowing the back to jump outside. See, the free hat for the defense is actually inside. The safety steps up in the correct spot, and guess what Bowers does? He takes the in-man on the line of scrimmage, who his entire job is to keep his outside arm free, and he takes that outside arm and mashes it down and mashes him down inside. That's great stuff. Right now, listen, there are guys that can do that. There's no doubt. They're blocking specialists as tight ends, and I hear about them all the time. It's like, hey, this guy, he gets after it in run blocking. He's our blocking tight end. Well, it's not often that that blocking tight end then becomes your biggest weapon for an explosive pass play. That's what Bowers can also do for you. This is what makes him such a good player. Let's look at the tape. Let's go back to that SEC championship game. Now you've got Bowers totally split out as a wide receiver. But it's not just window dressing because he understands the nuance and timing and spacing of routes. First, he outside releases just ever so slightly, kind of push release in order to get this seam. So that slow release, that little nuance creates the space. Then he takes off on the slant. It's an easy completion for Stetson Bennett, and it's an explosive play for Georgia. All because he understands the little nuances. He didn't panic and run and get inside there and then close down the window on his own. He takes his time. He comes off the line of scrimmage. He gives a little bit of a push release and then attacks inside. So he understands the nuance of zone. But then it's not just about zone, right? Because even slow guys can win against zone. You've got to be fast, though, to win against man, and he can do that as well. Check out this next play. Same game. Now he's in line, okay? So Bowers, here's our guy. He's in line, in tight end, and they're trying to run man coverage outside LSU is. Well, guess what? He's running right by linebackers. So he beats the linebacker right down the middle of the field. Bennett sees him, and boom, he delivers an accurate pass. So, yes, does Bennett have to deliver an accurate pass on time? Yes, absolutely. And Bennett plays well, and he has played well against top 15 teams, top 5 teams, big games, right? But he's got weapons, and namely Bowers. Bowers makes everything go for Georgia offensively because he gives them the ability to be balanced. Run the ball, throw the ball, and then even throw the ball explosively. So that's what TCU is going to have to face. So what do? Well, defensively, TCU is really about speed, all right, and then taking advantage of opportunities. Their speed is actually really good. And one of the things that they do is that they attack immediately. right when they diagnose a play, they're not kind of sliding over, but their linebackers are going. They run a 3-3-5 defense. Those 3 defensive linemen are there to just create stalemates at the line of scrimmage so the linebackers can fast flow quickly, get over the top, and stop the run. They did that very well against Michigan. They've done it well all year long. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. This is against Texas. Bijan Robinson, one of the best backs in the country. Here's your 3 linemen. Texas has 8 guys to block 7. You should not be able to stop the run, but look at how fast they flow over the top. So stalemates at the defensive line, then the linebackers are flow, and a safety comes up, and now all of a sudden you've equated numbers before Bijan Robinson can even get to the line of scrimmage. That's very difficult to do because, again, by the numbers, Texas has the play. That's a play that if I'm a play caller, if I'm Steve Sarkisian, if I'm any play caller, I'm like, boom, run it, we've got them. And then they still succeeded because of the stalemate up front and the fast flow over the top. So that's how they stop the run. Let's take a look now at how they get maybe some pressure on the quarterback. Well, they're going to blitz everybody, blitz one more than they can block. But in order to do that, you've got to be patient on the outside. And guess what? Man coverage, they switch off the release as to not give a free, quick completion right away. That's a beautiful job of being patient by the corner and the safety. Okay, so what happened there is that the corner knows that he's got the outside release. It doesn't mean that he's got the outside player. He's got whichever of that bunch set is going to come to him. The safety who's inside understands that he doesn't have the number 2 wide receiver. He's got the number 2 release. It's a little nuance to understand that their patience takes away the quick throw. When you take away the quick throw, then that zero pressure, zero meaning no safety in the back end, that zero pressure can get home to the quarterback. If they tried to switch that and the corner ran out and then all of a sudden there's an out route, guess what? The quarterback still gets hit, but that ball is going to be out. All right? Then it's not just man coverage. They also do a great job of reading and reacting in the passing game with kind of hybrid style players. So watch back here. So at the snap, you've got a linebacker backed up and a safety kind of down. Well, what are those 2 guys doing sitting in the middle of the field? Well, the linebacker screams down on play action pass. The safety sits, and now the quarterback can't throw the flat route. He can't throw the over route. Why? Because guys are just sitting there with their eyes in the backfield. Okay, so TCU runs a lot of different things, and Coach Gillespie does a really good job on the defensive side. So this is not a team that's just going to lay down. They're going to have opportunities to stop Georgia at times. They're going to have to deal with Brock Bowers, there's no doubt, but it should be a phenomenal matchup. That's what those 2 teams do on those 2 sides of the ball. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.